Hey guys, I'm here right now with Josh, coach of G2. Now, it's been a while since this Masters Shanghai rematch. There's been a VCT stage in the middle. So what is different about PRX this time around?
I think fundamentally, they got a lot better in the discipline department. I feel like they were a little bit sloppy when we first played them, and we abused that fact. Now I can see a lot more coordinated play. I can see the logic in their how they're like moving us around. So we were expecting a tougher PRX, and we got it, right? And like sure enough, like we've been working on our icebox, so like yeah, the score was as such, but I thought it was a much better PRX.
Well, that score definitely, that map went to you guys, so we're gonna see if G2 can manage to close out Lotus as well.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And Kilios is in his feels right now. He's just having a day, aren't you, there, buddy? You want to talk about it? You wanna discuss things?
Woo! What a roller coaster of a game. So jazzed up, so entertaining, so exciting.
Yeah, man.
You're scaring me,
so damn
Seth.
frustrating at the same time.
Hey, look, I mean, we knew that this was going to be a tough game, you know, for both teams, right? And I think you heard even Coach Josh RT saying how, you know, he knew that they were prepped, they were ready to go. But G2, man, that coordination, Mimi, has just been so freaking good from them.
Yeah, they look incredibly clean with this Harbor comp. I think on the attack side, obviously, we know it's really good for executes, putting up that wall, fighting deep off of it. But I really like some of the walls Valen was even using in the post fight. You see this one here to stop the players from pushing through and fighting past this lockdown. Then they switch on over to the defensive side, and I think it was just as good with some fantastic retake protocols. It is clear what Josh is saying about putting in the work on this map, because they looked clean fundamentally.
Yeah, they truly did, and Valen very impressive on that Harbor there. Just, again, this G2 lineup, man, every single time you think that maybe they're going to be a little bit weaker, maybe they're not going to be playing up to the caliber that we would expect them to, but then they shut up all the doubters every single time, and it's so freaking cool to see them do this.
Yeah, I mean, this could just be, you know, I think this is going to be the proving grounds for it, but just prove to be one of those teams that just gets to an international and then just locks in and says, okay, right, now we're in this mindset, now we're in this grind set, and we're just going to go ahead and just run away with this tournament.
For sure, and for all the credit Josh is giving for PRX to make some improvements, I think we did still see some fundamental errors in that game. Players going off. I think Jing had a couple rounds where he was kind of taking some individual swings, taking some liberties, and I think G2 is always going to be good to punish that. And those small mistakes will really snowball in a match that should be as close as this one.
Yeah, well, look, while the day may not have belonged, for at least for map 1 for PRX, so they do get the Verizon high-speed moment courtesy of Mindfreak's clutch in round 15. Mindfreak, again, every single time we get an opportunity to see this guy do his thing, always impressive.
And I mean, it wasn't just Mindfreak in this round. It was this like crazy disruptive idea with something like solo faking in mid set.
Yeah, I mean, there were some good ideas, and I think you can see some of those improvements coming through. There's a tab here at that backstab, getting ready to come in, something able to just go ahead and skirt around that turret, be able to dodge that out, and then suddenly it's like, okay, we think that we're protected, we think that we're safe. He strikes, can't quite find that second kill as instantly. Jonah P starts doing Jonah P things, starts popping off, but Mindfreak, this was, I think, a lot of there was a lot of displays in this icebox of Mindfreak being that stone cold killer, being that clutch machine. We saw him just trying to hang on. I mean, even in that last round, was, you know, trying to bail them out and keep them afloat in this one. This was a very good game overall from the side of Mindfreak, but there was still too many errors being shown here that just ended up unraveling things for PRX. Yeah,
in that round, though, I think we saw the biggest difference from the G2 that played today and that guard team who lost to them all the way back in Iceland. The round state kind of exploded there. I mean, something broke the turret. He was running around in mid. He was causing so much disruption. But G2 still had really good ideas to deal with it. They re-cleared their space in mid. They still set up for a clean retake. And they did end up losing to the clutch. But I think they've gotten so much better as a team at dealing with those unexpected round states and adapting on the fly, which is, in my opinion, the most important thing when you're playing against PRX.
Oh, couldn't agree more on that one. All right, well, things are interesting in the PRX camp right now, so let's go ahead and hear from Coach Alex, hear what he has to say as they get ready for map 2.
I'm here right now with Alex of PRX. Alex, that was a really frustrating first map. What do you think the team was lacking on Icebox that you hope will be remedied or fixed on map number 2?
Yeah, we had a game plan going in, but we didn't really follow it on our attack side, so that's a little bit disappointing. And I hope that on game 2 we will, I think, calm ourselves down a little bit and step it up.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, and we're going to see if PRX can take Lotus from G2.
Pressure, of course, is on, and you hear Coach Alex talking about keeping those nerves, keeping the team calm. They're going to need to do that as they're going to be facing the series point here between against G2. Lotus coming up next, G2's pick, and I'm curious to see what we're going to get really from both squads out of this one, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if there's any pivots in the composition for the side of PRX. I think that widely their Lotus has looked very good. Granted, yes, last time they played against G2 over in Shanghai, this was that first map pickup for the side of G2. That was when that download really started to come through for Valen. So I'm curious if they're going to have something different to throw at them, a bit of a curveball, change that composition, maybe reintroducing something like, the Killjoy into the mix here, or if it is just going to be straight up, something back here on that Jet, as well as Raze there for Jing.
Yeah, for context, when we've seen this PRX team play on Lotus before, they're playing no Sentinel on this map, a double duelist comp with the Neon and the Jet in the mix, which is extremely unusual here, especially when you contrast them with G2, who plays the basic Fnatic comp, but I think plays it really well. They're the best defensive team in VCT Americas, and I think that's really where they shine here. Their retake protocols in particular, and how they're able to kind of adapt with when they're going for the more aggressive forward plays, and when they're falling back, playing a little bit more passive into those retakes.
I appreciate you pointing that out, because genuinely that Neon, it's not something that we've seen too much from the side of Jing, but it's been what he's been bringing to the table on Lotus as of late. So curious to see if he's going to be sticking with that, or if it's back to Old Faithful.
All right, well, let's find out if this one makes it to map 3, shall we? We're going to send it back over to your casters. Here's Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy, and our analyst desk. Yes, Tom, coming into this, Jing, right? He had an okay first map, but now we're going to look at him as having a fantastic one, assuming he's still playing that Neon.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. I think it was a 28-14 performance last time he was on the Neon. I don't know if that will become the regular. But
DRX.
DRX, yeah, they're okay. They're kind of good at the map. But yeah, I think ultimately I'd be very surprised if either team makes mass changes. Like, I think it was a close defeat recently to Leviathan for G2 and a 3-map win streak for the side of PRX. So I don't think, I would be very surprised if they were going to go, okay, we need to completely revolutionize everything we're doing within the composition. But ultimately, it's more so just some of the stuff we saw in the last map that I'm a little bit more worried about. Like, if there were opportunities for the likes of Leaf to get into really awkward positions, as it was mentioned on the desk, they don't have themselves a Sentinel in the comp that they normally run. So there's going to be a lot of potential gaps to exploit. Last time they did have a Sentinel and that happened, so it really does worry me, especially on a map like Lotus, where there's a lot more avenues that you can sort of take that control, where you can be aggressive, where you can take space, or even just where you can rotate. And if those gaps are left, it could be very problematic. The only thing I will say is that when you're running a Jet Neon comp, a lot of the time you're going to be more direct. You're going to be more precise in the way you're doing it. So I guess the main thing will then be is, okay, do you leave someone behind just to make sure that that isn't going to be a problem for you? Or are you going to be so heavy hitting into those sites that it almost doesn't matter? Like, you've done it too quick.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the reality I expect for PRX. But then, on the other hand, just looking at the last map, the fact that Jonah P was able to find so much space, the fact that in the second half, Leaf was able to get behind them so many times and cause problems, that's something that they almost don't have the option to slow it down unless you are committing that player to stay behind. And thinking about the fact that PRX, we just heard from Alex down the stage, he said they weren't following their game plan. That's a worrying sign.
That's a really worrying sign.
You don't want to see that. And now bouncing off of a 13-8 on their own pick, they've got to move on to Lotus, somewhere that, yeah, they're not uncomfortable on. We've seen them do well, but the reality is there's a lot then to adjust behind the scenes for them to hit their stride here.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, well, I sort of walked past them having a little bit of a conversation backstage. As we said, no surprise, neither team is really going to be making those mass changes. And another comment you can make about the pacing of it is when you do drop that Viper, a lot of the time you're going to see, firstly, the amount of delay on the defense that a Viper can bring, in the retakes having, like, especially on the B side, being able to lock off certain angles, but then also just the takes towards A. It's going to have to be, again, much faster, much less reactive, and you're not going to be able to play with rotations anywhere near as much other than Jing just straight up running it down. But as you can see, they've got the decent win percentage on this one over the last stage. So I even though it is a choice of G2, and clearly they've come in with a game plan, knowing what they want to do, confident in their own map choice, it's still a very good map for PRX. I don't think they're going to be too worried going into this one.
Yeah, one of the criticisms you heard, I think it was Mimi on the desk who was saying that Jing was taking a couple of fights on his own, a couple of individual duels. And sure, a lot of the time, especially in the first half, he had something with him. There was always that duo system. You're not going to see that most likely this time around because this whole composition is made to set the two of them up, to have them take the space together. And I think that solves some of the issues. For me, the difference in the last map, G2 were playing as a cohesive unit. They were a team, and it showed in every decision, in every moment, in how disciplined they were before the retakes, in clearing space. When you look at PAPRX, we didn't see that same level. We saw them get caught off guard, and now I hope that won't be the same.
Think about the three-man B pushes that they were doing, where they were able to flank so fast into all of those A takes because of the control they had. That's more difficult to avoid when it comes to a map like Lotus when you're not running a Sentinel. So it's definitely going to have to be something in the back of PAPRX's mind that, okay, they're going to try and challenge us for space. Are they going to be making those like deep A pushes as we see so regularly? Are they going to have a sort of jump spotter on C that can give them that early information? And if they are, how do we shut that down? How do we make them play a little bit more scared? Because if you allow G2 to have all of that control on that defensive side, you're going to get blasted, I'll be honest. So you can't allow that to happen.
No, you really can't. For PAPRX, the pressure is most certainly on. This map and the next need to go their way, and G2, well, they seem to be the more refined team, at least on the first map. We'll see if that changes as we're about to get into Lotus. G2's map pick, and they'll start this one out on the defense.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into this one. I think, especially for PAPRX, after having that map sort of slip away from them, starting on the attack is going to be good. Like, having the ability to set the pace, and that pace is going to be high tempo. For now, though, it's more of a spot. Jonah P's just looking for information, but he's taken the head clean off Divine. Not the man I expected to be going first, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, last map, we saw him go first, and it was a disastrous round, at least finding a 4K. The A site taken by PAPRX, so at least they'll trade out the life of a man for the site control. Losing out on that Fade utility hasn't stopped them putting boots on the ground. But the retake from G2, quite quick. Paranoia is absolutely perfect. Something still gets away with one, and the nade is slowing them down. Nice disruption from PAPRX to start this off.
Jonah P! He's just taken over! 3 headshots already, that Sheriff in his hand. It's looking like it has aim lock, looking for a little bit more, but the trade backs are still good. It might be all on Jonah P, a fourth in the round, and finally he's put down. But Leaf is there to pick up the pieces. What a pistol round. Now I know what the P stands for.
Precision. 1-0 for G2, and my goodness, yeah, we talked about Leaf, we talked about Jonah P, more so in their ability to get behind you and find those free kills when you ain't looking, but it seems Jonah P's stepped it up a little bit. Look at this. Gorgeous first shot, and then these follow-ups are absolutely clinical. Even grabbing another to make it doable for Leaf in the end. Might have come close, down to 7 HP.
Good round,
but it's not close enough.
It's literally only because Leaf has shields. That's the difference maker. It's unfortunate because, yeah, a hero that saves them, because PAPRX actually did very well, and they forced. They're going straight into the B site. They have got guns to play with, looking for those SMGs, and well, already speak about the pistols, but the trade from Trent gives them the advantage, and he backs away.
He's doubled up, still has a Prowler to work with. Icy needs to keep control over Heaven. He's under pressure. Something already up close. They know that he's there, and the swing in from Leaf closes this one out. A double on the Stinger to put 2-0 on the board. Weapons upgraded as well. Same thing as last map. It's a decent follow-up round from PAPRX, but they force bought. That's the real problem. Like, round 2, that kind of damage, usually great, but now you haven't got the credits to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it means that likely into the next round they'll come in with a 4-buy with everything they could ever need. Like, there won't be maybe light shields or something like you might normally see, but it also gives another round for economy to be built up. So you can see a slightly better buy than what they had in the last round for G2. I guess there's also just the thought process of, it is PAPRX. Maybe they do it again. And well, one of the only investments other than pistols is that Marshall.
They've still gone for the Sheriffs, though. You know, even though things haven't been going their way, PAPRX are not going to lose their mojo. Still coming in, an opening pick towards the A site. Weapon on the floor. I actually think that was a Phantom, too, because there was a lot more upgrades than you might have thought in the last couple seconds before the barriers went up. Trent does well to manage the numbers of PAPRX. The Prowlers cleared out a lot of close space. They'll get back towards the stairs, but they're conscious that someone could already be close.
Yeah, he's kind of good with the Bulldog, you know? He's kind of good with it. Valorant
All three.
It's not going to overface. Not really any need to. Icy already reclaiming a little bit of ground. Something does have the gun, but he's desperately low on health.
You're dead.
Actually, it's Divide to go down behind him. That is...
Sees nade.
Here.
Yeah, a troublesome position now. Something needing... Oh, maybe one of the craziest plays with how low he is. Having the rifle's not even that much of a hit because a single bullet will leave him down in the dirt. And while Mindfreak's done well, that's at least a first.
Still hinging on something, and especially with Mindfreak going down. Once he finds the first, that's where things should stop. They haven't cleared him just yet, but, well, now he's been seen. Taken down, and the upgrade's just fine for G2. 3 players surviving. Phantom to be taken through to the next round. Some Bulldogs as well. At Bulldog, at Guardian. Perfect stuff. 3-0. Solid start for the defensive side. PACIFIC, they've certainly shown that they're willing to brawl and able. And that may stand to them in the next round, but not just here.
Yeah, the problem is, although they've kept the economy relatively honest, you're still going to have 5 rifles. You're still going to have enough to probably invest into the next round anyway. And you got a 3-0 start. So it really does just put them on the back foot almost immediately. I think if PACIFIC don't find a response here, this could very quickly get out of control.
Oh yeah, it could spiral. Trent, well, I liked his Bulldog. Let's see how much I like his Odin. Sat inside of tree, spam already, gonna light up Jing a little bit and slow down the rest of the squad and clearing out that space. Slowing down PACIFIC is something not a lot of players can do. He's just getting all the walls lit up, turning them into Swiss cheese, but PACIFIC have waited out the spams.
And in fact, they're going to fall back off it. Maybe just wanting to set up Mindfreak, but no, it's in fact just a ruse. No aggression on the other side. They've also baited out that they could have taken some tree control, and they are just going to full sprint their way towards the other side of the map. Now, it has been spotted. The deep turret gives Leaf the information, and they do have Nightfall to play with, so that's the other thing. It's possible that they're just going to look to play this as a retake, but instead, especially after the utility goes down, just going to fall back. I say that, still within the site, who hasn't been spotted again. It's Danger Man, Jonah P.
Yeah, sat in the smoke, waiting for it to fade. It's going to be a duel between himself and Jing, and it's Jonah P to win it, and double up! Devi's gone too! That should have been the trade. And instead, Forsaken as an impossible task. 4 players coming his way, and nade used alongside a reveal. They know roughly where he is, and now the rest of the util comes in. The C's saved until they had the information. That's an absolutely gorgeous play. And a solid economy farming round for G2. 4-0 up, 4 players alive. Those credits are going to be sky high.
Yeah, PACIFIC got more done with the low buy. It really was. And again, you said it, the way that they save a lot of their utility, like what they did there was put the snakebite on the left, so if he does manage to dodge the C's, he's getting vulnerable and then the player swings, or he gets hit by the C's and he has basically, I think it was 30 HP to try and fight versus the entirety of the team. They're so good at just putting their utility into the right place, playing really safe, because we've seen so many teams lose crazy rounds to Forsaken. You've got to give the man his respect.
And one of the things that often slows down those rotations is what PACIFIC attempted. They moved quickly towards A, slowed down with the spams, waited, and then went up and opened the door. Like you said, they feigned that they could have been in tree. But then once the door was closed, they just put a Prowler in on G2 and went, oh, no one's there. I think they might be going somewhere else. And at that point, Jonah P gets into position. He's ready for that hit, and he does not leave. The man plants his feet in the ground and says, I'm standing here. Takes down Arlong Park. 4-0 for G2, and a timeout for PACIFIC. They're already feeling the heat.
Yeah, understandably so. Like, you've lost your own map choice. Again, I think through fantastic retakes and adaptation from the side of G2 to deal with what was hyper-aggressive, fast-paced rounds. And now it looks like G2 have come into this one, knowing what they're coming up against. I don't think anybody expected PACIFIC to swap their comp on this one. And they look very comfortable. Like, again, like you're seeing, whether it's the early rounds where they just seem to be so good at grouping up for the late round retakes and playing as a squad, or even just in that round where you had a surprise player that actually caught PACIFIC off guard, which was the whole idea when we talk about PACIFIC potentially winning this one, is can you beat them with the pacing? And as Mimi said on the desk, she thinks it's a great matchup for G2. Right now it is looking that way. There needs to be some sort of response. And while with how many rounds they've lost in a row, the loss bonus is there. Bladestorm available for something. Let's hope this is the start of something.
Is that Trent opening the door? He's trying to spot how many players are outside. And now he hears the steps up close, so a little bit late. But that could have been something. Still something to be afraid of on the side of PaperX. You can see them taking their time and closing the distance. They've heard the reload. They know there's another wave of spams about to go, and they think they've bypassed it, but there's still someone covering it on the walk through. They've seen that one man of something has already crossed. Nightfall to be used, but something's around the back. He's gotten closer than expected. Icy covering it from up top, though. Now they maintain their control, slow the push from PaperX, send them in the other direction, but Jonah P waiting as usual on a sliver of HP, and he triples up Devi, the last man standing. Another unbelievable round from G2. They barely break a sweat unless Devi can turn up the heat, and he doesn't know that there's a player sneaking right around behind him.
They've got the spike as well. It was irrelevant whether or not he managed to win the battle over on the A site with the spike being down on B, but yeah, Jonah P today, it's just having one hell of a performance. We saw, like, he was pretty good in the last map, but this has been ridiculous. Like, being able to re-isolate each one of those duels, it's just solid positioning. Dodges the initial utility, re-peeks back into the second player, and then just tries to catch a time. Like, he knows if he just allows him to swing, he's definitely dead.
Yep.
But that's got, yeah, it's got to be infuriating.
It's even the fact that he pulls back around the corner for a second. These players hit by Nightfall, running the other direction. They're thinking he's going to jump on the box. He's low HP. No, he just wide swings them again and again. Gorgeous play. And 5-0 for a reason. G2 are looking unbelievable. PaperX struggling to get even a round on the board just yet. A rifle for something and pistols to back them up. This is the kind of round where they have so far done the most damage. We'll see if that carries through and converts to a round win.
I think the Nightfall overdrive, it's a pretty nasty combo.
Yep.
But then again, look at the position that Trent is playing in. Like, just consider that right now. He is literally just playing full retake. They've got the Viper's Pit down on one side. They know that in these moments, there you go. They've expected the Nightfall. As said, sometimes it really does look like PaperX are just reading from the hymn sheet of the opponents because they've used their ult. It's not really gained anything, and G2 are very happy to play the retake.
Yep. They were ready for this from the get-go. One flank position from Forsaken, though, that could catch them off guard. Look at that. He's got a nasty angle. He hears the steps, and Jonah P, a taste of his own medicine. Dropped from behind. A rifle to be recovered. PaperX with a stance to fight from Jing's caught off. The finger gun's not doing the damage. They'll concede the space, let them down the stairs and fight them on the site, but Leaf wins that one too. Now looking for control over Tree. They'll find it for free. It's Maine. They've got a fight, and the swing is good with Leaf getting his third of the round. It's another successful defensive side already guaranteed to be equal at the half, and I don't think G2 are going to slow down.
It's just how confident they're playing. As said, like, to just completely give up the site to PaperX, have that much faith in your ability to retake, but you kind of understand why. Like, look, well, 4 of the 6 rounds they have on the board are off the back of retakes. Maybe some less so than others in how the rounds were actually played out, but it wasn't even that close in the end with how much time they actually allowed them to set up. I think, what, like 2.5 seconds still remaining. They are looking super comfortable. Again, we're going to see an investment, but using that Nightfall in the last round to very little effect. It was more the lack of information that gave them that sight. Operator in for something is an attempt at a change.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that it's not like there's been big peaks coming out of G2. They're very happy to sit back and let PaperX push into them. Lockdown in play. Jonah P. Again, the positioning was perfect, but he positioned himself right in front of Devi's spray.
Again, good isolation of the duel, but at least PaperX have managed to keep this one even. One of the better opportunities they've had. Now, it's going to split the defense quite a bit more. Showstopper is available for Icy. So again, if they wanted to, they could lean further into these retakes, but you can see VALORANT is just going to be jump spotting. Now, all he's looking for is information, which he should get now, and there you go. And I think that may, I'll have to wait and see, eventually switch the position of where Trent's playing.
If Leaf swings this and they get the kill, they will run back in the other direction. In fact, they're going to do it anyways. Something now moving through to re-clear this space. He hasn't gotten the peak he wanted. The patience of G2 is
seconds left.
commendable, to say the least. This swing, yes, it works out. Icy's down, but the trade attempt is there. Down to the shorty, closing the distance. Something playing a crazy game. Upgraded to the rifle, downgraded perhaps, and Leaf doubles it up, keeps it doable for their side. And Trent, oh, Mind Freak knows he's up close, but now the info goes both ways. The spray comes close. Mind Freak on the adjustment for the double. The first round for PACIFIC at long last.
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of it comes down to just being able to get into that site and find the opener. Something does well with the operator and then just playing off of that late round. And again, even just the trade out through the smoke was pretty big, because we've seen such high impact rounds from Jonah P. This will get them onto the board. It's just whether or not they can now try to extend things. Luckily, they do save that operator, so that's still going to be in play for this next round. And they have themselves the null command, which will have value in reducing Leaf setup. Instead, though, the defense have got aggressive on both sides of the map.
Usually talk about the push and the pull, but this was just the push. PACIFIC found themselves the pick. It's being traded out on the other side. C-site left for a retake. Nano's broken already, one activated. We'll slow them down, section them off, but, well, oh, actually, I love this. I adore this. A little bit of damage done. Jing and Forsaken now decently low, but the plant will come through. PACIFIC have some ground to fight from.
Yeah, Trent's trying to sell the ruse.
Oh, here we
Nade
go.
one side. Ah, he's been denied. Well, denied the ult, maybe not denied the kills. Icy still going strong. Sees to the backside. We'll let them know that there's at least was no one there. And the rest of the team just looking to push together. It's all going to be on to one. And while Devi, try as he might, won't manage to get anything.
Yeah, they might have hit him with the knife, but he stopped the show himself. Gorgeous stuff from Icy. Really impressed by him in this series so far, and by G2 in general. We expect this to be a close one on a surface level. There was always the chance of a mismatch of styles or of PACIFIC. Look, like you pointed out earlier, Tom, on a downward trajectory in terms of international events. Last time they were at a Champs, Grand Finals, top 2.
Yeah.
Now, they're being challenged in the first round. It's not a good look, but it's a fantastic look for G2. Coming from the challengers section of Valorant, the heights they've reached already, unbelievable. They may just be about to 2-0 PACIFIC, certainly if it keeps going this way.
Even a bit back before they made it into the VCT, there was conversations about could this team just beat them anyway.
Yeah.
I think that was answered fairly quick. PACIFIC again down to a shoddy by 3 pistols, a couple of Guardians. We haven't quite seen those same hero plays that we've wanted to, at least. There was 1 or 2 on the previous map, but I guess Mind Freak's double is about the best we've had so far. He did get them their first round. Now an attempt to just walk through, and well, that's going to be revealed. Solid utility, maybe not the gun for it, or maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I take it back. Somehow Trent's made that work. Well, he's finally put down. Too little, too late.
Well, you say that. Maybe don't count Devi out just yet. 45 seconds. He's got himself a rifle now. His HP quite low. The chance for a big play. PACIFIC needs something. I think they'll take any chance they can get. But look at G2. We talk about the discipline. Good attempt by Devi. Baits out the first fight.
Yeah.
Knows there'll be a swing back sight because they've played enough rounds against G2. This isn't a squad that's going to send individual after individual to fight you. They group up, they play it together, and their reward is an 8-1 lead. But this man felt my heart skip a beat.
It's the moment of realization. I think he sees the little bit of like smoke from the dash and goes, wait, what? Oh! Still manages to get the kill. Had a little bit of support from his friends. 8-1. Whether you were a G2 or PACIFIC fan, I don't think you expected it to be this dominant. They have looked incredibly strong. As said, on the first map, PACIFIC were in it at a point, and then the adaptations came in. At this point, it seems like G2 have been ready from the get-go.
And G2 are adapting again. Aggressive push-up on B. They hear that A main control, and they realize it's just going to be the same old playbook. They're taking control, taking tree, and fighting sight. And that early flank is catching them off. No one's ready for it. Look at Mind Freak. He's staring forward. Jing's just about spotted them. And he will manage to at least do damage, making it doable for Mindfreak, who's grabbed the double. But again, the trades keep swinging in the other direction.
So
thanks
good.
to players like Jonah P. I don't understand how he does it again and again. Divine now has it all to do. He's got the right gun for the job. Gonna try to brr them out of this one, but it's gonna be difficult. Nice lineup. Good spam, but they're going right back. They're playing the same game. Diffuse already past half, and it's too far gone. The spray might be good for one.
He jumped across and killed him.
But one's all they get. 9-1 on the board, Tom. This is a devastating start to map 2. And well, G2's map pick for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah, even still, like it's been a solid map for PACIFIC. They're just getting shut down. I said last time they played Jing, I think it was 28-14. He's 2-10. Like, he's not been in the game at all. I don't remember saying his name once. Like, it really, and that never happens. That never happens. He's one of the best individually skilled players we have in VALORANT, but right now it seems like individual skill doesn't matter. Whoever they face off against, they're getting destroyed. Like, this is a pure team performance. The reads are impeccable. Like, every time that Nightfall is online for Trent, he is out of the sight, and then he's going back in.
Yep.
And they are so happy to do that. We mentioned the flanks. I think this is the first time the flank has really been a big issue because they haven't needed to. They've had the read so often to get players in the right place, so they haven't needed to go around the flank. They throw it in here, and it does catch players. They also have fights from the broken door. Like, there's so much cohesion from this G2 roster, and that is the difference. Is it individual skill winning them all of these rounds? No. It is the cohesion between the players that they'll be supportive utility. Okay, Jonah P has won them a couple of rounds with straight BS.
Yep.
Like, just
100%.
like unbelievable
100%. From the
positioning and skill, but like, other than that, they're just outclassing.
Oh, 100%. Like, at this point, Tom, you know, people have been telling me for a while, Americas is so far ahead of EMEA. This is their number 2. I mean, they're playing a damn clean game. I'm getting worried. I'm starting to sweat a little bit, and I don't think it's just the temperature here. G2.
Well, I'll also say, I feel like there's even an argument if they are the number 2 because of how close.
The final, right?
Yeah.
It was OTs and
13, 15, 14, 16, then they won 13-9 and lost it.
Yep.
This team is
number 2 in a
up there.
technicality.
Yeah, and after their performance at the last international,
Yep.
even less so. They have looked incredibly good.
But this is just every single round, man, it's just clean.
Oh.
The ideas, the executions, nobody is greedy on this squad. Everyone's just playing it for the numbers to win the game, and that's all you can ask for.
Valen starts it off. Will be a trade, but he's taken a lot of damage. A more direct approach this time from PRX, but I'm going to sound like a broken record. These retakes have been stellar. Something's trying to get ahead of it. I really don't mind him pushing up, trying to fight more aggressively. They haven't been able to hold, but again, an impactful double from Jonah P. He's left to fight this alone. Oh, it's a bit of a wide swing, but they will peek it together. Forsaken puts the second round onto the board with 3 kills. At least something. Maybe they can start looking at curses.
Now, we're going to definitely hope that the 9-3 exists still, that curse. Well, it used to be a big thing, and PRX going to have to perform a ritual to bring it back. I'll need to find this round at least, and Tom,
Maybe
so
Paper
far,
Thing can do it. I've heard he's pretty good at rituals. I've seen him with the DRX jersey. He's not in the building, so he'll have to. I don't know. It means he can go out in the street and do it. In fact, that's what I want to see.
You want to see Paper Thin in the street doing a ritual?
Yes, that's what it is.
All right,
that's what
we'll see if we
can
can
arrange
arrange
That's the content
that.
I desire.
All right, well, I think you might be
Don't
the
you
only
dare.
one.
Don't
No
you
way
dare.
he's going straight through it. There's no way. Jonah P's positioning's been unbelievable. Trent, I love you, man.
Oh, okay, he got caught.
Gorgeous play. Yes, he did, but look at the position of Leaf at this point.
No, he's going to get revealed.
Okay, he's revealed. He's revealed. He has to break it. Now they know. Now the flash goes through.
Good
Gorgeous.
flash.
Okay, there's the reaction from PRX and the follow-up from Forsaken and Defy. Now they're hitting their stride.
All right,
It might be a little late in the half, but they've got the foundations laid. A pistol could bridge the gap, but they're going to need it.
Yeah, we finally saw some life in the squad, like reading what was going to be done by Jonah P. I think that's the first time that he's actually been caught. And then also Forsaken. Last couple of rounds really stepping up to the plate. It's a mountain to climb, but luckily there's a second half after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to half number 2 of map number 2. What could be the last of the series. G2 leading by 6 coming into the second half, Tom. And it has been a masterclass from this squad. Although PACIFIC started to wake up towards the end of that last half. See if they can carry through that momentum here.
But they have to. Again, this is a group where there's a lot of threats. Like EDG and Foot is the game that's going to be played later on. And if this is the level that we're getting, okay, maybe it has been impressive level on the other side, but I do question whether or not we're going to sit there and go, can they beat either of the teams we'll see play later on?
Well, that's it. If they have a flat performance like this to start it out, but 2 rounds to close out the last half, it's a little injection of hope. The pistol round carries most of it on its back. If PACIFIC don't win this one, again, the home stretch for G2, and we saw it. It was just too far out of reach on Icebox for PACIFIC to come back into. G2 didn't slow down. Barrier's about to go up. The challenge, not to lose 4 players to Jonah P's headshots.
You know what? He doesn't have a sheriff this time, so I'm not a believer. Already, though. Well, yeah, see, it's not a sheriff. Not quite as controlled, aggressive from the defensive side. They've met them outside B, and well, just about going to be the retreat. Keeps things even, but neither team is shying away from this. They want to fight. And well, maybe I was wrong. Jonah P with a double. It's not going to be 4, you know, not possible. But it's still pretty good. Last man standing something. Well, I believed in the post plants of G2 throughout the entirety of these series. And I don't think I'm going to start to not believe now.
No, I don't really care what the number is for Jonah P. He needs a raise. He's putting in the goddamn work at this point. Trent with a Bulldog, Trent with an Odin, didn't matter. I'm becoming a fan of this team very quickly.
Are you just trying to get the whole team a raise? Is that the goal?
At this point, Tom, you disagree? It's been unbelievable, and although something grabs one, that is all she wrote.
The G2 manager's going, shut up, shut up.
10-3, double digits found in the first round of the second half. G2 certainly seemed to be in the home stretch. We saw a force buy from PACIFIC on their attack. It didn't work. I'm not sure that we'll see it here, but
if they do it on defense, then I think Prey's almost just GG the game. Like, you're not going to have that extra injection of having the plant, so it's not. And the last time out, it was 1 player standing and they got a plant. It wasn't even close. So you're basically just going to go in with sheriffs or stingers with no shields or light shields. It's just not worth it. So it is just going to have to be the hard eco. Jing, a solo sheriff. And although, yeah, if they do lose this round, it will be a massive jinx. The way that G2 have been playing, I would be gobsmacked if they lose this round.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have been so disciplined. The teams that lose these rounds tend to be much more loosey-goosey, taking risks. Now you can see that on the side of PACIFIC, they're willing to group up and do a little exec play. All the util thrown outside of A at Rubble. All the dashes used, the space taken, and there's no one here. Now they've got to go to the other side of the map, which is wide open. Typically, you'll have your Sentinel on this side when you go for those big gamble plays, at least getting you the information early. PACIFIC will struggle with that, as they don't have one.
Already. They're just set up, watching for the door. something. He's going to be met by Leaf. It's only a pistol player, so not the end of the world, but we'll garner him an extra orb at least. For the rest, yeah, they've dropped a couple of players. This really isn't bad. Where did that come from? Again, Forsaken. Giving them at least a life. There's time for this. Like, they're going to have to move quickly, and they're desperately low. Valen, a safe pair of hands, but not this time. All right, then. Maybe the caster curse does exist because somehow they managed to win that round.
Unbelievable, 42 HP between them as well. MasterCard Thrifty pulled out of absolutely nowhere. Typically when we see those, there's at least a small bit of investment, but this really came out of the blue. Double digits for G2, sure, but that lead not extended on, and now the economy in a tough spot. Hey, of all the ways to start this half out, this may well end up being one of the best for PACIFIC, surprisingly.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as something you should attempt.
That's not a foolproof strategy, that's for sure.
It's funny as well because the time they invested into round number 2 as a force buy, it failed miserably. And the time they didn't, they win with 2 players standing. It's the most PACIFIC thing on the planet. And here goes Jing, continuing that train of thought. He's looking to battle and brawl, maybe get some confidence back. He's definitely had a bit of a rough map so far, but I don't think anybody's doubting that he can turn it around.
Yeah, that was his 3rd kill so far. Push up from something, good space taken. Turret not watching this angle, and it's left open for a moment. He has the timing. He has it perfectly, and he's not greedy. Just taking the one and backing off, holding the position now. Trent and Icy, the last 2 standing, and it looks like PACIFIC have really found themselves a way back into this series, back into this map, more importantly. 5th soon to come on the board with this firing squad waiting for them. And it's nice and easy, just leaving Trent, just a Sheriff, and if he wins this one, PACIFIC may just walk off the stage. 10-5, halfway there.
It's still a long, long road to go. And I think we know that getting back into the buy rounds is where the expectation changes. But I do think that just boost of confidence. Like winning a round like that gets everybody hyped up, gets the blood pumping. Also just proves, you know, we can take these rounds away from them. We can still get away with the stuff that we've been attempting and that has failed. I think Forsaken, a lot of the time, puts the world on his back when things are going bad. We saw that in Madrid as well, one of the craziest shotgun plays, no, the craziest shotgun play I've ever seen. Question now is how far does that go?
Forsaken certainly not afraid. And you mentioned about the confidence, it's a big factor. Something certainly has it. Already going up aggressive on A. He's got backup, Prowler coming around, spotting a player close left, and he decides to back off. Yeah, this is a wise choice, knowing there could be a swing coming out from both directions. Can't see someone like Jing slow it down, even after a couple of bad rounds. Well, more than a couple. This Neon, he needs to be taking space, and he's done just that. Now they can start to rotate to the other side of the map. They'll be a little bit late, and Mind Freak seems to be just conceding the control.
Forsaken's knife not yet back online. He's put the fragment in, but it's only going to deny them the close corner. I think they're going to have to give this one up. Again, looking to play the retake. Plant. Not going to be denied just yet as they wait patiently for everybody to arrive.
Taking the leaf out of G2's book. PACIFIC on the way in, and up he goes, but Jing not landing the shot. The trade is good nonetheless. He causes the chaos. Trent, though, manages the recovery, and Jonah P's there to help out. Forsaken, now the last man standing, misses the jump up top, or maybe he intended to stay below. He almost caught Trent off guard, but the reactions of this guy, unbelievable. Another triple for Trent, and 11 rounds now on the board. The home stretch well and truly in full swing for G2.
God, it's not like the other side where G2 can wait for their retakes and just everything falls into place. I don't mind the idea of the sort of the jump up from Jing, even if it's just the surprise factor of it. But again, whether it's Jonah P, whether it's Trent, like just having these positions to just almost maneuver around. That seems to be what's just so impressive about every player on this squad is their positioning. Again though, financially, PACIFIC after the round, they won off pistols. Economically going to be good. That looked close, but no cigar.
Just a hair away, but it's enough. PACIFIC Don't claim the early advantage. G2 stacked up and ready to blitz out of this choke point. If they go for it, they could be in trouble. You've got Jing and Mindfreak ready to exact vengeance on them. Instead, the spike is shifting towards the B side. A bit of a split with some going C where they know that there's an op. You have to imagine there'll be deep utility used here to push them off the angle. Indeed, it's going to be the Prowler sent through, and it's caught him up close, got the op shot out. Now they've claimed the angle on the side of G2, but is the spike going towards B? I mean, Leaf's already taken the space. The door is open. Nightfall goes through. It's a confusing one for PAPRX to read, and if they had an IGL, he'd be panicking about now. Forsaken, under pressure, manages the one, but they need a little bit more, and it's something in Jing to deliver.
That leaves Valen alone. First goes his way. Now he can back out of there. Has the spike in his hand. They know exactly where he is, and something, well, a little bit too quick to allow him to get away. A 6th round onto the board for PAPRX. A big one to win as well. It's going to put the economy of their opponents right on the back foot once again. And that is, again, the thing. Just how disruptive this team can be. The rotations of Forsaken selling the idea that, okay, he's gone down, Jing can now swing off the same position. And then this man at the back of the site, they give him anything, and he's not going to miss those shots. Still, a long way back. But these sort of back and forth rounds, well, at least winning one and then losing it straight back, it's probably the best thing that could have happened for PAPRX, because it means that financially, again, G2 are in trouble.
Up reposition this time, playing on the A site to allow PAPRX to push up on C and take that space. Problem is they can't commit to so many players on Mound because they have to go back to clear B. That leaves Jing isolated when the fight comes down. G2 able to take that pick for free. And now well, the world's their oyster. They can take it where they want. Turret still covering their back, but it's about to be out of range. Looks like commitment to the C site, and it certainly is. Straight through his Icy. Has Showstopper to use, but not anymore. Mindfreak keeping control over the back. He's lit down by the spams and has to be a bit more passive now. The rest of his team on the rotation. 2 stack up on B and 1 further, but they don't know that the snake in the grass yet again, the Viper down below, is on his way, and he's just wrapping for free. It could be an easy kill. He's gone into the smoke, though. A moment of solace for Mindfreak, but he doesn't expect there to be a player there. Forsaken's blindsided, and Mindfreak low on the site will struggle to stop this plant.
He's trying his best.
30 seconds
At least
left.
one comes up for Divine. Now the time is ticking. This brings things back to even. It's whether or not they want to try and use the Viper's pit, but it might make it tougher to plant. Another one for Mindfreak. Leaf tagged desperately low. It has to be Trent. It needs to be him to try and get something done. And what, 15 seconds left. Plenty of players to find, and in fact, it's a man that started it all. Mindfreak with 3.
Reason to have this man's jersey at home, Tom. Phenomenal player, and a big round from him. Dodging the spams at first, his timing on the Shrouded Step was unbelievable. Forsaken was unfortunate to get caught blindsided as he walked back through, but the spams here, absolutely gorgeous. Not just taking down Valen, not just taking down Jonah P. I believe it was there. You see it in the kill feed. Leaf as well. 3 players going down through the wall.
The play cam there is quite funny. It looks like he's celebrating before he got the kill.
He's gonna peek me, watch this.
11-7. PAPRX are on that road to recovery. Now, the ultimates weren't used by G2, so they still have them going into this round. Viper's Pit, Showstopper, but they built up on the other side as well. A matchup that, if PAPRX can win, they really are getting to the point where they're back in the game. An immediate teleport. Valen, I was about to say, if he sticks that, that's a bold attempt. Instead, though, it was just used to give them the information. Nightfall used fairly early, but Jonah P's lurk caught by something.
Yeah, who could have guessed Jonah P would be lurking in this game? Seems something certainly hit the nail on the head. Now the steps are heard leaving the B site, although, okay, the knife gets thrown through, so Forsaken knows there's someone outside B. He'll stick in position. C site, 3 players just outside it. They had success, 3 kills in the last round off just spamming the wall and denying the plant. Looks like they're not going for that this time. Instead, it's Jing running around the nade for Forsaken, and Jing steps right into it. He is farming them up. And on 9 HP, Brave to use this ult through a smoke.
Okay.
And Leaf
1v1.
now has a real chance. 1v1 against the op. This round was looking done. It looked like it was already in the bag, and instead, there is going to be a challenge. The op not going to be the best for spamming through that wall. Something has to hope that he'll find an angle. Leaf knows once this ult goes off, he has time to get the plant in. He's going for it. Something's wild, spams, perhaps? No. He's instead going to close the distance, keep the element of surprise up his sleeve, and try to isolate this man. Caught scoping in. It's a big danger, but he's picked the right angle. It's not over yet for PRX. They pushed up to 8.
It's just a back and forth. It feels like they've pulled G2 into the mania that is PRX, with battles and brawls, a 3v1 that Leaf almost manages to turn, but again, a safe pair of hands is something with that operator. Jing, though, they're just the fact he's playing. Again, we've seen this earlier in the tournament, just playing through the fragments. Oh. And that is filthy. Just couldn't quite get it done on the last. G2, after losing 5 of the last 6 rounds, are going to take themselves a pause. I think a necessary one as well, because we've said in the last map, they were able to weather the storm. They were able to play up against PRX's style with them taking aggressive mid-control, them running it down. They were playing it perfectly in those retakes, and in the post plants, they were sublime. PRX have started to deny them getting those plants, and that's where it becomes a little bit more problematic.
Well, you're seeing the first timeout for G2. I haven't had to use any so far. Remember, this was, what, 9-3 at the halftime? An impressive, and the pistol went to G2. So a really impressive
This could have been
recovery.
over like 10 minutes ago.
In fact, with most teams, with most games, it would have been over.
Yeah.
But PRX have started to find themselves a little bit. And with 3 rounds in between them, it is definitely the time for G2 to touch base with the coaching staff. This round, not likely to be the one that they win. They've got pistols. They're very light investing. No heavy shields whatsoever. A few ultimates online. But, again, unless you see Jonah P headshot 3 people, or 2 maybe, you're not likely to see that showstopper pulled into effect, unless there's a big mistake from PRX.
Yeah, same for his Viper's pit as well. It's like you've got a stinger in case that eventuality comes about, but a lot more is needed. It's so aggressive. Already, immediately taking control towards that C site. It's left something alone. This could actually be the bigger problem for them. He's going to manage to dodge, but they're trying to pressure with a low buy, looking to get as close as they can. He's repositioned, but the shots are missed. He's now somewhat stuck in the mud, and they're waiting for that rotation to come back in. Shots connecting. Icy found another one, and he goes for even more. And not even needing that showstopper when he's got the pistol in hand.
Trent's behind as well. He was biding his time on B, and there's no way they expect him to be here at this stage. He's recovered a rifle, and it's the freest kill of his life with Jing down and out. What a way to push up to 12 from G2, a round that seemed like they wouldn't have a chance in. They had nothing but pistols for the most part, and here they are. Just Devi, 1 against 4, a Viper's pit to fight through. Icy, who's popping off everyone on rifles, bar Jonah P, who doesn't give a damn inside his pit, and a showstopper just for good measure. This is a disastrous outcome. And sure, he takes down 1, but that matters little to G2 right now. A 3K for Icy, a MasterCard Thrifty, and with that, 4 chances to take the series with a G2-0.
It's going to be the thorn in their side, a slip up, and one that it's unfortunate. Like, you put your operator on one side, and I thought that was going to be the main problem of the round, but it's mainly just the fact that Icy's able to wrap back in, and then I think he spots, that's it, it's just the shrouded step. He sees just a tiny bit of information and is completely ready for anything Mind Freak is going to do. 12-8. Operator now gone as well. Can't be back on the board for PRX in this round. It's been a huge part of what they have. Jing, he's gone as well.
And the showstopper's active, but Mind Freak's up top. No one was close enough to trade him out. Big swing from Devi as well. They'll double up on it. PRX now with the advantage. They punish the early rubble control. And the response seems to be to take it the other direction. The steps are heard as Valen moves up towards B main. They know that he's on his way here, and something is more than ready to execute him. But Valen starts to run back. Timing for something isn't great because the turret's still there. It's going to catch him and give the information. They know that push has come through, but it does get the rotation to the C site.
But that's the thing. If he doesn't peek that, it will have actually been a perfect stack up for them on the C site. Now G2 can call into question, okay, if he's pushed up, they know it's not B. They know the fake that we sold isn't going to be there. Forsaken under pressure, but he can't afford to give the game away here. And well, with now already they've lost 1. This is an awkward fight to take. He's just about going to make it around the corner.
Trent is so smart. He throws the reveal and then just swings it, knowing that they're probably going to go for the peak. Nightfall goes through in the back of that. Forsaken catches Valen, though. A huge kill, but with the Nightfall hitting, Trent takes his moment to go for the flank, moving around through heaven, sees that it's clear. Now you know that the defender spawn is not where they're coming from. It refocuses Leaf. He's now looking towards the water, where he's already heard Mind Freak, TP across, waiting for the steps, and he's turned at the wrong moment. A free kill. Trent now has to do it all. He's pulled out multi-kills so many times in the past, and the first is his, but he's got to swing in and deny that defuse. Not this time. 12-9. 3 more chances for G2.
Yeah, then, well, again, it's going to be a break back immediately after we see that pistol round victory. You got yourself what was a nice attempt to turn back around. After the early battles, it was looking rough, especially with the information that something was able to get with such a deep position. But even still, once Leaf went down, the position for the retake or the clutch for Trent just wasn't a good one. From the depths of hell again, PRX looked to rise. Economically, though, again, they're still almost fighting off the back of that pistol, and it's given them enough to purchase once more. And no surprise, we're seeing a push-up on A.
Yep, they've had success taking it. Mind Freak alongside Jing. Forsaken, early knife for info on C. And the aggression from something successful, at least in the last round for the information. First fight doesn't go their way. Mound control given over to the side of G2. Orb to be taken. 2 away now from a lockdown, and the push-up on A. The slide in from Jing is gorgeous. Jonah P didn't stand a chance.
It's got to be infuriating. The amount of times he's been picked off by an operator pushing him. And now Jing sliding into position. The B site looks to be the point of contention. Smokes out, paranoia, utility, but there seems to be a point where they might look to just push through this. I didn't expect that. Now Icy has managed to put down 2. It's not the play you expect to see with the Odin. And now Mind Freak's gone as well. The perfect combo. It's left onto the man who started this comeback. Forsaken, 1v4.
Devastating round. Let's see if he can do it. And no, immediately shut down. G2, 13-8 and 13-9. They were the better team here today. And the man on your screens, ice cold with it. This guy is unbelievable. His raise popped off, but you got to commend G2. They look like such a clean machine on the server. This is someone that I and anyone in this tournament should be scared to face.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think coming into this group, there was a lot of doubt about who would be making it through, but I think most, if not everyone, should have looked at G2 as the favorites. This team has been on an upward trajectory all the way through the year, ever since making it in. For PRX, hey, they woke up towards the end. We started to see the team that we wanted to see throughout this series, but it was just a little bit too late. And those individuals on the other side, the team cohesion, there was everyone needed to sort of fight versus the side of PRX. And yeah, I think if you look at most teams, maybe you can think of, okay, this is their weakness, this is a weak link. For G2 right now, I'm stumped. It's up to their next opponent to try and work it out.
Yeah, someone's going to be losing sleep trying to answer that question, because this team doesn't seem to have a weakness when it comes down to players or approach. They just seem so far ahead. And I got to say, I am impressed by what I saw today and every facet of it. Icy blew me away with some of his performances. Jonah P, that man, he needs to be studied. He needs to be studied. I want to know what he ate, what he did in the morning. What's his routine? I'm copying it once there's no walking involved. And Trent, look, here it is. Here it is with the pistols as well, the 4K that kicked it off. And this set the tone for the map, and I don't think the tone changed. There was a little moment.
I would say there was a decent moment.
PRX picked it up at the end, but
down,
again,
they made it competitive.
Just too far behind, and that was our fear going into the second half.
For sure. No, I think the retakes were incredible. Like, that was
unreal.
What really made this team look like they shine. I think on both maps, but this map in particular, it was just ridiculous. Whether it was saving utility for the late round, just having it to combo a player out of position, or even just general cohesion and fundamentals from these players. Like, they are so in sync with each other. Their positioning and where they take fights, like, basically optimizing whether there's a risk there or not. It was at times the polar opposite of what we saw from PACIFIC, and as it was said on the desk, this is why they came into this and it looked like they would have a good matchup, because they can deal with the craziness, and that's difficult to do.
If we've seen our fair share of teams struggle with that in the past, for PACIFIC, a team that was previously up on top now finds themselves with a loss to open up champs. We're going to go down to the stage, though, and hear from VALORANT with our good friend Bella.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the post-match interviews with your host Bella. I'm joined by G2's VALORANT. Congratulations, VALORANT, on your win.
Thank you.
오늘 첫 번째 경기 G2의 발린 선수 만나보겠습니다. 승리 정말 축하드립니다. 이제 유일하게 G2가 어센션 팀에서 챔피언스를 진출하게 됐는데, 그리고 이전에 또 다시 한번 PACIFIC를 오늘 이긴 승리 소감 한번 먼저 들어보겠습니다. The only Ascension team in champs, and yet once again you took down PACIFIC. How is that? How does that win taste?
It feels very good to come out for our first match and come out with a victory. We know it's going to be a long journey, but to start off strong means a lot to us. We put a lot of effort and preparation for this match, so I'm glad that it all paid off, and the boys showed a great game today, so thank you to my team.
이번 챔피언스를 통해서 이제 첫 경기를 정말 좋게 출발하게 돼서 너무 기쁘고요. 이제 팀원들도 그렇고 이제 앞으로 이길 경기들이 많이 남아 있지만 첫 출발이 좋아서 엄청 기쁘다고 하네요. 그리고 G2의 이제 아이스박스가 점점점 단단해진 거를 우리가 오늘 경기에서도 볼 수 있었는데, 좀 IGL로서의 발리는 오늘 아이스박스 팀의 아이스박스를 어떻게 평가하는지 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다. Your icebox has been getting more solid by each game.
Yeah.
And how would you rate, or what are your thoughts? How confident are you about your team's icebox?
Yeah, so we've had some devastating losses on that map, obviously some almost 13-0s, like really bad results, but it's always been a top map for us in scrims, so we don't shy away from it. We know it's a good map for us, and we just have to look back at the VODs when we lose and iron out some little details, because it always comes down to the tiny things for us.
Right.
And from there, you know, we just took it match by match, and now it feels really confident, so I kind of dare teams to pick it.
이제 원래 아이스박스가 스크림에서는 항상 탑픽이었기 때문에 뭔가 자신감은 항상 있었지만, 이제 안 좋았던 경기들이 몇 번 있어서 오늘 이번 이제 경기를 통해서도 이제 G2의 아이스박스는 준비가 됐고, 다른 팀들도 저 도전장을 내밀었으면 좋겠다고 이야기를 하네요. 그리고 가기 전에 마지막으로 승부 예측 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다. One last thing before you go, EDG or Foot Esports?
I want EDG.
EDG?
Yeah.
All right. All right, good luck to you for the rest of the tournament. Thank you for the interview.
감사합니다.
And that was G2's VALORANT, and we'll have to see if he's right, because we have EDG versus Foot Esports coming up after the break. Bye-bye.
이거 시작한 지 언젠지 하도 힘을 주고 있더니 지금도 뻐근한 내 어깨 내가 지금 뱉고 있는 가사는 대체 뭘 위한 건데 모를 거야 난 평생 내 선생 또 선배는 너를 정내 플레이리스트에 남들과 좀 다른 게 들어왔지 눈에 투면 내 same thing 비슷해 보이는 것 빼고 골라서 선택 It is the mistake For the cash, for the fame 관심 없어 난 내 가사에만 몰입해 계속 work on 믿었어 그럼 따라온다고 잔스레 근데 항상 따라붙는 조바심 내 버릇이 잡아먹는 강박 내 목소리를 팔아 남들 다 하는 얘기 말고 진짜 내 living life 다 그대 눈 감아 뭐 접어 그 전까지 날 붙잡고 있는 것은 다름 아닌 사랑 It's love What is love? I don't know Nobody heard 어느새 내가 여기까지 와서 정말 난목해 한치 앞을 모르겠어 Only up for chance Take a step closer I rest my case 말했잖아 정말 난목해 어느새 내가 여기까지 와서 정말 난목해 한치 앞을 모르겠어 Only up for chance Take a step closer I rest my case 말했잖아 정말 난목해 이게 make you look easy I feel right it's black Oh can you see me take your stereotype All out of time 도대체 얼마던가 내가 버린 수많은 것 생각이 안 나 중요한 것을 놓치고 있는 듯한 기분 말이야 쫓기고 있는 듯한 이 기분 말이야 걱정 마 여기까지 다 왔잖아 미안하지만 I don't give a it's my life 가끔은 be alone 근데 낯설은 맘의 위로 받을 줄도 몰라 혼자 견뎌내고 이게 나의 방식 가끔씩 안 통하는 상식 돌아보니 고마움을 알기에 I believe in myself 시간이 흐르고 나는 익숙해져